Hi friends, this is Laura with Potpourri of Life. I hope you're having a great day. This morning what I would like to show you is how to simply make celery salt. And you know that I do a lot of dehydrating, and so what I do with all those celery greens, or if I end up getting some celery with thin stalks, what I do is I dehydrate them. And here are a couple trays that I dehydrated last night of my celery leaves and the stalks. And there's still a few more stalks and leaves here. And I've already started the process of grinding them down, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But some of the other things that I have dehydrated is the other day I made an asparagus with mushrooms, and I bought a big package of mushrooms, which is what I always do. And then I dehydrated what was left. So this is what I got out of dehydrating. Now, these mushrooms took up 2 full trays. It was side to side with all the mushrooms, and then when they were all done, they just about fit 1 tray if I wanted to put them on 1 tray. But after they were all done, they fit into this small jar, which I can put on my shelf and have for when I want to add mushrooms to soups, add mushrooms to a stir fry, whatever, because it will reabsorb the moisture that was taken out of it with dehydrating. In this way, I don't have to worry about mushrooms going bad in my refrigerator. I've done that plenty of times, and I just prefer, why bother doing that if I can easily dehydrate them, whether in a dehydrator, in the oven, whatever method there is just better, and it allows one's resources to go a little bit further. I also, in that video, also shared that I was doing something different with the asparagus stems. I dehydrated them too, and I have some, I don't know if you can see that very well, but this is a beautiful sage green color of the asparagus stems. So I grind them up. What do I use these for? I can use them in soups, I can use them in smoothies, I can use them in whatever I desire to add just a little bit more nutrients to it, because asparagus has a lot of nutrient values in it. So I've got all the celery all dehydrated from a batch that I got, and the celery itself wasn't very thick, and even if it was, I could still do this if I have a lot of it. And I actually have more celery in my refrigerator, so I want to get down there and chop those up, and so I can dehydrate them. And you can dehydrate celery in pieces so that you have celery pieces in your soups. You can dehydrate it to do what I'm doing. And today what I'm doing is I'm dehydrating it. Well, I've already dehydrated. I'm actually going to be making celery salt with it. So before I continue, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, like if you like this post, and share or comment. I really appreciate that. So first I'm going to start, and I'm going to change the camera angle. And what I have started with is I use my coffee grinder, and I've already ground up some of the stems. So I'm going to put those aside, and this is what I've gotten so far. Not much, but we're going to get there. So I'm going to quickly go through the process of taking the leaves, and you can hear that they're all crunchy and ready to go. These shouldn't take too long. And even though it might be just as easy to buy the celery salt at the store, you know, I'm one of those people that if I can make something really quick and easy at home and it saves me some money on the seasonings, then I'm going to do it, because that's just me. So I kind of crunch it in. I take whatever piece in there that I don't want. I add, I'm not sure if you can see, okay, so I have all those celery leaves there. Put my coffee grinder on here, and basically I use my coffee grinder solely for grinding herbs and seasonings. And I don't hold it down continuously because it can burn your motor out. You might want to ask how I know that, because I got impatient, just left it down one time. All you do is just little quick things until it turns to a powder. It's almost there, so we'll keep going. And what's nice about this, I don't know if you can see that. See how nice and green that is? What's nice about this is that you know that it's truly celery salt. Now I'm going to show you, I don't know if you can see, the stems were a little bit lighter and the leaves weren't. Oh, it smells amazing. All right, so I'm going to keep doing this. And it doesn't really take that much time. I usually go faster than this, but I just figured why not just go slow. The video will still be short because I want to show you how I make the salt once I get these all taken care of. What are some other options that you can use celery salt in is that you can use it for putting in your soups, your cold salads that you might make in the summertime or the wintertime. There's many salads that people make, like coleslaw, potato salad, egg salad, macaroni salad. And let's see, what other things can you do? You can add it to your soups, your stews, whatever, as a seasoning that you might be looking for. You just need to do it a few times. And this is something that you could incorporate your children in to help. You know, you might have some that may want to do the pressing because it sounds like a motor, vroom, vroom. And I should incorporate my grandkids in doing this. Okay, I can dump it on my counter because my counter has been washed. And then I can take this and put this right into the grinder. There's some other pieces. Even though it seems like it's just very little, I still recommend washing everything down prior to preparing anything. Just a personal preference, and that way I know that whoever uses this is going to be happy with the quality. Okay, we got one more tray with a few more, and there's some with some stems left, the celery pieces. So when you do the stem parts, they do take a little bit longer. So I just, oops, you can't see that, my apology. So I just put the little pieces right in there and let it go. But I break them down a little bit so they fit right in there. And you'll notice that I'll have to grind it a little bit longer than normally. And you can tell that these were small celery stems because they're just so tiny even after being dried. But that means they can be used. If you go to a farmer's market and they're small like that, maybe they'll be reduced in price. I don't know. But those will still benefit you if you want to dehydrate them. If you don't want to dehydrate them, they will still provide a beautiful taste or flavoring just like that without making them into salt. I'm trying to get them all in there so I could just do the last grinding. I don't think I'm going to get them all in there this time. And it could take a little bit longer because of that, but it makes a little bit louder noise because of the stem. Or the celery portions. Most of it came down pretty good, so I'm going to just do one more, a couple times more. And there we go. Now it doesn't make a lot. I mean, I had 2 trays of celery and it's not making much powder. So I realize that some people will say, well, this is not worth it. I get it. I look at the prices of the seasonings on the shelf at the grocery store and I'm like, I can save us some money because I do use this as a seasoning. Like later today, I'm going to be making a cold salad. So this way I can use my own celery salt. And I'll do this throughout the summer. The celery I grew was very small, thin stalks as well. And I have another batch growing, and they seem to be having heavier stalks, so I don't know if I'll do it for this as well as the or chop it and put it into the freezer. But this is it's shelf stable. Okay, got them all out of there, and all I do afterwards is I will wipe this down with a clean, wet washcloth, and then, you know, with soapy one, and then I'll go clear it out with a clean towel, a wet one, to make sure the soap is out of there. So I have this much going. All right, let's measure this out. So I have 1 tablespoon. Here's a 2nd tablespoon. And here is a 3rd tablespoon. Now, I'm not sure if I got a 4th one. Oop. It's about 3½ tablespoons that I made from from 1 stalk of celery. So 3½. Now what I want to do is I want to add 3½ tablespoons of salt. This here is real sea salt. There's no iodine in it. So, but if you like the iodine in your salt, by all means, you do what's important for you. For me, I'm not worried about it. So there's 1. I'm not sure. You got to double it. You got to, excuse me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what you saw me do is I made 3½ teaspoons of celery salt, and I doubled that. Excuse me, I made 3½ celery powder, and I doubled that and put in 7 tablespoons of the salt. So 3½ tablespoons of the powder, double that for 7 tablespoons of the salt. And what I have here is I have a mason jar cover that has a sprinkle. You don't have to use those. If you save your Parmesan jar lids, they work perfectly on mason jars. So you can use that as a sprinkle. And so then just shake it up. And you now have your own celery salt. It didn't take very long. I'm showing you it's like 13 minutes because I took my time to show you. I showed you a little bit about the mushrooms. I showed you a little bit about what I did with the asparagus powder from the asparagus stems, because I like adding greens into things. Like you can even add those into, don't tell my husband, you can put them into brownies or anything, cookies. But more often than not, I add that kind of stuff into meatloaves, or you know, if I make a mix to go over meat and stuff. And that's another thing with this. You can use this as a mix meat rub. So this here, so I put 7 tablespoons of sea salt, not iodized. But if that is all you have and you're not worried about too much iodine in your food, and we do need iodine, please understand, I understand that. And then 3½ tablespoons is what I got out of my celery and the leaves. Now, do you have to use the celery stalks? Not at all. Enjoy your celery stalks, whether you dry them to put in stews later or freeze them, or I like to eat them raw with peanut butter or thrown into my salads. But you don't have to dehydrate those to make celery salt. But you can if you want. Mostly I save all the leaves because so often we have those leaves. The leaves can also be added to your salads too. So whatever works for you. If you like celery, this is an option, so you have something shelf stable that you don't have to go to the grocery store for. And this is a lot of celery salt. I shouldn't have to make any more, But it does give you options of how to use it. Use it in your cold salads, use it in baking, use it as meat rubs, wherever you deem like, well, maybe I'll try it on here. If you like celery salt on a few things, and you don't have to overdo it. One key point though is if you are using this in your salads and stuff, I would not recommend adding other salt to your salads or whatever you're using, because then you could get too much salt. And I realize a lot of people with heart conditions are very cautious of how much salt they get. But please keep in mind that sugar contributes to heart issues as well. But I think this, you only need a little bit I just sprinkle a little bit into my potato salad or whatever I'm making for a cold salad, and it works great. I hope that was helpful, and please know you don't have to make celery salt. You can still grind it up and use it as a seasoning. Do whatever is easiest. I'm just looking, and I'm always working towards saving money. And if I don't have to look at the seasoning aisle, it saves me money. But there's some things I still pick up, like paprika. I love that. I buy it in bulk. So I hope that was helpful and useful, and I hope you take an opportunity to try that. Have a wonderful day, and may God bless you.